Hi, I'm Tim from Fiorucci Fabrications here with Lowbrow Customs, and I'd like to talk about one of my parts, a battery box for a rigid Big Twin Harley. So lots of times when you see an old bike that's been converted from 6 volt to 12 volt, the stock battery stuff doesn't fit anymore with these newer little batteries. So you see bikes and they have wood or something just jammed into the battery box to get this, keep this from flopping around. One of the benefits of using my battery box is that there's two different style battery trays for your oil tank, and they have typically 4 holes or 6 holes in the bottom of the tray. And I designed this battery box to fit both of the battery trays with these slots at the bottom with carriage bolts. Your battery will go into the box and then you can tighten everything down from the bottom. So with your battery and everything installed, you can easily get underneath your oil tank to snug everything up, even if you're about to go for a ride or something, or say it came loose on the road or something like that. It still gives you a lot of room to tuck stuff in around it, whether it's fuses or your circuit breakers, stuff like that. It can turn your battery box now into a toolbox because of how much room you save. Like everything else that I make, it's USA made right here locally in Cleveland, Ohio. So this battery box is also specifically tailored to house an RTX 5L-BS, which is available at lowbrowcustoms.com. And you can mount the battery box, whether it's forwards or sideways, it fits both. And I'm going to show you that right now on my buddy's Panhead. So this is my buddy's 51 Panhead that we're going to be installing the battery box on. It's already together and running bike. I have the battery already removed, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to install this, making a swap from your old battery box to a new one. So we got to get to the oil tank. I'm going to flip up the seat, and like I said, it's already disconnected. You'll need a few tools. We got just a couple 7/16 wrenches and a long reach ratchet with a socket and an extension. And so I'll take off the lid and just get the nuts off the carriage bolts at the bottom of the tray. Like I said before, the carriage bolts are able to slide in the slots. Make sure that you use Loctite on the carriage bolts. To line these up, you just kind of have them sitting in the bottom of the tray and put that in there, and make sure that you get them to line up with the holes in the bottom of the tray. So since there's nothing holding the carriage bolts in, I like to use the battery, and I'll slide the battery in to hold it down, and just it just puts a little weight on the top of the carriage bolts and keeps them from sliding out of their position. So when you put the washers and nuts on the bottom of the tray, they're not going to pop out of position. There's not a lot of space and to get the nuts and washers on to the bottom of the tray, so a tip is to use a little grease, and you can put them on one at a time. If you put a little grease on the washer and then you slide that into its spot, it'll stay stuck to the bottom of the tray while now you fish the nut in there and lock that down. Now I'm just putting on some grease on the other washer before I install that in the spot. It comes with all the hardware that you need, like these larger 1-inch diameter washers, because the holes in the bottom of the tray are larger than the hardware, so it takes up any of that slop. Maybe I should mention that this is the trickier of the two sides. The washer goes on easy. Let's see how the nut goes. Okay, now that you got your nuts on, just snug them down. We showed before, make sure you use Loctite. There we go. Now that we have the bottom side of the battery box installed into the oil tank, we're just going to slip in the lid, which the tab goes first, and then it just flops down on top. And just stick the bolt in the top, and we're going to bolt it in from the bottom. And then you just have to hook up your leads, clearly negative to negative, positive to positive. So now that you have your battery box bolted down, it's worth mentioning that this setup doesn't compromise your stock lid and flag hold downs. It still works with everything, and you can nicely just cover all of this up and still keep that stock look with utilizing your old parts. So if you like this video and found this Fiorucci Fabrications battery box useful, you can find it available at lowbarrelcustoms.com, and we'll see you next time.